Hello, good morning. Welcome to lesson 6. You have already made so much progress, especially for those of you that this is brand new to. Today, we're going to go a little bit deeper and talk about deep inner knowing. And this is all about trusting the process and building faith within ourselves, within our body, and the journey. And I don't know about you, but like we discussed earlier this week, oftentimes we do all of the things and we really don't believe that they're going to help. And again, there is some advice out there, especially with the internet these days, that is not fantastic and will not help us move forward. And it's important to have guidance in that realm as well. But the other piece of it is also trusting in ourselves. And that's something that a lot of us lose over the years. I know I lost it, and there are some things still that I'm working on as far as trust is concerned. Um, but when we try to control healing, it's we're grasping. We want all of the control. We want to make sure we do all of the things. But when we stop trying to control it, we create space for our body to do what it was designed to do, to heal, to thrive. So you're doing the inner work. You're working on aligned actions. But now we're coming to a very powerful crossroads on the path. And this is sometimes the hardest part. It's trusting the process or attempting to maintain control and have all of the right answers before we do anything. And it can be scary to not grasp for control. But if you've noticed, and maybe you're like me, you felt like when we try to control, we want to have all the right answers all the time. And we feel like a decision is a life or death situation. It's a life or death decision. I can't go back. That's how we feel sometimes. And that's normal, but it's typically not true. We can always go back. We can always pivot and we can trust ourselves that A, we are capable, but B, we are allowed to change our mind. Okay, we have the permission to move in any direction that we want to move. So, most decisions that we make in this space and in this container, there's no finality to them. But oftentimes we feel like we do. And we lose our ability to trust ourselves to make these decisions because there's so much confusion, there's so much worry, there's so much stress. But what we've worked on thus far, and it will continue to be a work in progress, but it's releasing that stress and calming the nervous system. And now we are shifting more, even further from doing to being and controlling every outcome to trusting the body's wisdom. And something else, I think I just had a little bit of a glitch. Hopefully everything continued. But something else that happens is when we don't see results right away, we tend to lose trust, to lose faith. Oh my gosh, it's been 3 weeks. I've seen no changes, and I'm really frustrated because I feel like I'm doing all of the things. And that's normal to feel that way, but it takes a long time for the body to work into a state of chronic pain or fatigue or for dysfunction of any kind to be going on, any health condition. And even, if you've been living with a lot of limiting beliefs as far as physique and your own abilities, it takes time to overcome those. So give yourself grace and know that your body is constantly trying to support you. It's trying to repair, rebuild, and regenerate. And it knows how to do that. All right. It knows how to do it without us telling it how to. We don't have to think consciously to breathe or for our heart to beat. We wouldn't have made it very long. Okay. Our lungs are breathing, our heart is beating, Our immune system is working. Now, sometimes we need to support these things and give them a boost because of all of the things that we've encountered in our life, whether it be nutrition, exposures, different pathogens. Sometimes the body needs supports, but it can do the rest when it has the right support. And that is the intelligence of life. When we live in constant worry and doubt or fear of not healing fast enough, then the body senses danger. We're sending out that stress response even when we're not meaning to. All right. So you want to keep that nervous system relaxed, keep it from tightening. And this isn't blind faith, it's psychological permission, just allowing your body to have the time that it needs. I'm sorry, I got like a hair tickling my face or something. It's driving me crazy. But we want to tell our nervous system that it is safe to relax, to let go, to heal. It has permission without us trying to micromanage. Have you ever been micromanaged by an employer, or when you micromanage someone else, like it's not really appreciated, and typically they don't like it. They want to go haywire rather than do what they're supposed to do. So let's do the same for our body. All right. We may feel like control is safety. This is something that I feel personally. This is something that I'm working on. So this is not something that I'm just telling you to do that I am not working on. Being a control freak is something that I'm known for. Believe it or not, I like to plan. When historically, when things have not turned out as I expected to, it throws a whole wrench into my day, and it's not fantastic. Like, I don't know why that I was that way, but it just is what it is. And it's something that I'm learning to let go of even now. And it does take time, but control doesn't equal safety. It often equals more stress, more inflammation, a more neurotic nervous system. So, if we plan every step of the way and we're not giving ourselves grace to do things imperfectly, then we'll be holding ourselves back if we're not enabling ourselves to do those things. So we want to release that expectation of ourselves and understand that we are not perfect. And something that I learned actually in college, and I hated philosophy with a passion. I had to take it 3 times. I went to school for biology, right? Hated philosophy. But the one thing that I took from that course, after having taken it 3 times, was having preferences, not attachments. It is okay to have preferences, but when we are so attached to a specific process or a specific outcome, it often leads to disappointment and more stress. Now, I'm not saying, that kind of sounds like, well, you might fail, so don't try. That's not at all what I'm saying. But we often grip so tightly to the outcome that we want. It is really just not conducive for the universe to bless us with what we're meant to have. All right. So we want to get out of that forced gripping stress response and just tell your body, remind it that you trust it. I don't have to fight you anymore. We're on the same team. All right. Healing becomes accelerated when your mind, your soul, your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions are telling your body that you're on the same page. All right. When we cultivate trust through things like mindfulness and action and relaxation, man, these invisible hairs are getting to me today. I'm sorry if that's irritating to you. I'm irritated too. But when we do these things, our bodies produce more oxytocin, and this is the hormone that's going to increase connection and calm and safety. And this activates the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, remember that is the rest, repair, digest side of the nervous system. That's what we want. So when that happens, what else happens? We have a lower heart rate. If you've ever felt anxious, sometimes it starts in your gut, sometimes in your head, sometimes your heart rate increases, and that alone makes us more anxious, more stress, more adrenaline, more cortisol. Okay? When we have calm, we have lower heart rate, lower blood pressure. All right? So many people are on medications for cardiac reasons, right? High blood pressure, high cholesterol. These things relax. We have our breathing rate slows down. Our digestive system improves. So the digestive system, the gut is actually, it's been coined the second brain. It houses the enteric nervous system, which is another portion of the nervous system. And the gut actually connects to the brain via the gut-brain axis and the vagus nerve. And when the gut's upset, it sends distress signals to the brain. When the brain is upset, it sends distress signals to the gut. That's why when we feel like that pit in our stomach and we get stressed and then all of a sudden we're bloated, that's why. So when we're calm, we have improved digestion. Our immune system improves. All right? We have better sleep and emotional regulation. Our cells are literally responding to that sense of safety and trust that we're cultivating in our body. So it's not just emotional, there is a biological response. All right. So we're going to try a little bit of a surrender practice right now and just really sitting where you are. If you're driving, listening to this, please don't close your eyes and don't get too relaxed. But if you're sitting in a calm space where you're safe to do so, taking a couple deep inhales in through the nose. Fill up the belly, fill up the chest and lungs, and all the way out. If you can, make your exhales longer than your inhales. So maybe inhale for 4 and exhale for 6, as long as you don't feel like you're gripping. If you feel like you're forcing it, maybe try an inhale for 3 and an exhale for 4. That longer exhale calms the nervous system. It activates that parasympathetic nervous system. So taking a couple more deep breaths, just really think, first notice if there's any tightness in your body. If it's in your neck, your shoulders, in your chest, or in your throat. Anything going on in your body. And maybe just try to relax. All right. Something that is really relaxing is to think of these areas just getting very heavy. It's wonderful to do at night. It's great for sleep. Highly recommend it. Warm and heavy. So anyway, let your body relax. Notice any tightness in the body, anything that needs to be worked out, anywhere that you might need to focus physically, but also think about mentally where you might be gripping, where you've been trying to control every detail. Maybe it's in your symptoms. Maybe it's in your diet. Maybe you feel like you should be further along. Maybe it's in your timeline, your progress. Just really write this down and ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen if I let go a little bit? Oftentimes we think like we just feel, we get this feeling as though something, there's impending doom, something bad's going to happen, right? But what are we actually afraid of if we let go, release some control? And what would it feel like to trust that your body knows what to do? All right. So take some time to be honest with yourself. Be compassionate. There's no right or wrong answer. Don't censor yourself. This is about self-discovery. Okay. So make sure that you're not holding back. And then the next step to this is closing your eyes. Find, and if you're not doing it now, it's a practice that you can do another time. But again, getting nice and relaxed, taking those deep breaths, feeling the supportive area beneath you, whether it's a bed or a couch, if you're doing this now, or in the morning when you wake up, but just visualize yourself next to a flowing river. And this river represents healing, steady, intelligent, and alive. Water is symbolic of healing. Um, Something that might be helpful is listening to theta waves or running water while you're doing this visualization, especially if you're someone who, like me, sometimes has trouble visualizing things. But in your hands, imagine you're holding a heavy backpack filled with whatever you're gripping, all of that control, the worry, and the pressure that you've been carrying. And now take another deep breath or two, filling up all the way down to the belly, filling up the lungs, and just release that into the water. Release it into the river. Watch the water carry it away effortlessly. And just remind yourself that you trust your body, you trust your path, you trust the process. And let your body just feel the lightness, the softness, the calmness, and lean in to that safety and embodiment of this deep inner knowing and this trust. And just replace that control with connection. So every time we feel tempted to control or worry, we can pause and connect and instead remind ourselves that we are safe, that our body knows exactly what to do, and that healing is unfolding in perfect timing. All right. We trust the process and allow our biology to do its job, get itself out of fight or flight, and ease into flow. So you can take these grounding breaths, you can do these visualizations. When anxiety arises, you can just reconnect with yourself. You can place your hand on your tummy or your chest, your heart. Take those deep breaths and just be reminded of the trust and power that you have, and just retraining your nervous system little by little, even in those moments of uncertainty. So, for your next reflection, just let me know what is one area that you're releasing some control in and that you're learning to trust more, or one kind of maybe affirmation that helps you to surrender when fear or doubt shows up. I'd love to hear what's working for you, but remember, trust your body's wisdom, release the control, and allow healing to unfold in its perfect timing. And remember, healing is not about fighting harder, it's about trusting deeper. We don't have to control the entire process. We just need to lean into peace and presence and belief and trust and support the body the best way we know how. You are safe, you are supported, and you are healing even in the moments where you can't see it. Until next time.